Welcome back once again, guys. Okay, so remember also mathematics is about consistency, and I'll speak consistency continuously to you, that you don't just work on the day you write a test or something. It's something that you do it on a daily basis, even though you're not writing an assessment. Okay, on a daily basis you work. So it's better to do 20 minutes per day, 30 minutes per day, than doing 5 hours because you have a test coming. So you can be continuous now, consistent now. That will make a huge difference in future. It's not about how many hours you're going to add per daily basis. It's the consistency. And I'll really encourage you to be consistent in your mathematics. Okay. Now, let's look at again. We said when we come back, we'll look at the bar graph and the histogram. So comparing bar graph and histogram, a bar chart are frequency diagrams that are categories along the horizontal axis. Does that make sense? So bar graph are frequency diagrams that show categories along the axis. What does it mean? It could be colors, yellow, white, black, male, female, okay, something like that. Okay, so on the x-axis, on the horizontal, you'll have your categories, okay? It could be gender, it could be race also, something of that nature. There are gaps between the categories. So you have a block like that, another block, but there are gaps between those categories, okay, for the bar charts. Are we all together? Make sense? Okay, so gaps, you have gaps there, something like this. Frequency is, so if you look at this, we have a bar graph showing learners travel to school. So this implies learners can walk, take a bus, bike, or car. Frequency will be how many learners walk to school. How many? You count them. So that will be the frequency. Bars. And you can see, what we see here is that bars is actually the mode. Mode implies the most occurring. Most of the learners at the school, they use a bus to get to school. So those are the categories, because we're talking about traveling to school. It either can be walk, bus, bike, or car. And the frequency is the actual numbers. And if we look at this, we can see, we don't have the actual number here. We can see that that is the highest point, which is the bus, and followed by the bike, okay? Then after that, followed by walk, and we have lastly, about few lower numbers actually use a car to get to school. So this is the bar graph. You can see there are gaps between, there are gaps there. Are we all together? The blocks don't touch each other. Are we all together? Fantastic. Okay? You need to know how to draw this and how to interpret this. Now, let's look what we have here. So this is the bar graph, and those are the bar, and those are the categories. Okay? Categories, you can have anything there. Comparing bar graph and histogram. Histograms are different to bar graphs. Yes, we do agree. Histograms are frequency diagram that shows grouped data values along the horizontal. Interesting. So the histogram shows grouped data. What do I mean when I say grouped data? Group data can be how many people between the age. Even if you look at how our minister reports on the COVID-19, the data is grouped in how many people died from the COVID-19 based on age. They'll say 70 to 80, how many people? 40 to 50, that's grouped data. So histogram, we use it to represent grouped data. Are we all together? Where a bar is just categories. Now, there are no gaps between the categories. There are no gaps. There are no gaps, but we spoke about grouped data, and there are no gaps. So the blocks can touch one another. Okay, are we all together? There are no gaps. Let's see, what do I mean? Example of histogram. There it is. So let's say meals sold during the week at the school or somewhere else. So frequency will be the meals sold on Monday. That will be the number there. I think if this is, let's say this is 5. Let's say the blocks get going 5. This will be 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. So we can see that on Monday, 25 meals were sold. What do we see? The blocks, they touch. Are we all together? Are we together? But here, we don't even have, this is not even, we group Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and so on. Okay. So, no gaps between bars, you can see that. That's very important. Numbers of different pets owned. Let's look at this. There's a frequency. Each category is given a category. Okay? We can see that. So the number category placed directly underneath the middle bar. Okay. So the comparing of bar and histogram. Histogram can be used to show both discrete and continuous data. Remember that discrete, it's like specific, that value, where continuous can take any value, like temperature, and discrete is like a flip of a die, which I can get 1, 2, 3, where continuous can be like a temperature, something like that. Okay. So histogram can be used to show both discrete and continuous. So let's look at that. So those are the COVID-19 positive case, arranged according to age. So this is discrete data, and this is continuous data, which is temperature. Are we together? So, I mean, if you look at this, between the age of 0 and 9, there's nothing. Between the highest age, the modals class, we're going to call that a modal. I'm just going to talk. If you look at the age between 30 and 39, is the highest frequency. So that age has the most positive COVID cases, okay, reported. If you look at the data, I'm not sure how long that data is worth, for a month, for a week, or so on, okay. Are we all together? And if you look at 50 to 59 is the lowest in this chart. Maximum daytime temperature, okay? So this is what we have. You can see this is continuous and discrete, which can be done by the same. We can look at runs scored by an opening batsman in one-day cricket. So this is grouped data. Remember, when you play cricket, you get runs, which are the scores, okay? So the opening batsman is the first person who will bat at a cricket match. So about 5 runs. Between 0 to 19 runs, we have 5 Batman. Can you see that? We've got between 0 and 19 runs, between 20 and 39 runs, which is the score. It's about 9 there, we can see. And actually the mode, which is modal class, the modal class. Why do we call this a modal class? It's between 40 and 59, because we don't know the actual mode in grouped data. So we can only tell the highest frequency, which is the modal class. Are you all together, guys? Okay. Great. Hope so. So let's look at this. So what we can do, if we look at this, we have 16 runs there, which is about that, followed by 9, then followed by 5 runs. And if we add all this, I think we get 30 runs. Okay, are we together? This will be runs smaller than 60, which are actually 30. Okay. So we're back. What we've discussed is a bar graph and histogram. Okay? Are we all together? One with the gaps, one without gaps. Okay? Categories and grouped data. Okay. So we looked at bar graph and histogram. So now let's see, we're going to look at frequency table. What are frequency table? Frequency table is used to organize raw data into class interval. Raw data, so frequency tables is used to organize raw data into class interval. So if I go out there and test how many people with COVID-19, we get, okay, we have 100,000. That's raw data. We just have 100,000 with COVID positive. But now when we start grouping according to age, and say between the age of that and that is grouped data in frequency table, because we're putting the age groups and how many in each age group. And how many in each age group, that will be the frequency. And the interval, meaning from the 0 to 9, 9 to 20, that will be the interval. We're grouping that in intervals. Okay. So we're grouping raw data into class intervals. So class intervals will be like age, the category, between the age of 9, 10, and so on. Let's look at this. So these are the runs from a cricket game. Okay, so these are the scores. We can see, I mean, this was 42, 34, 39, 49, we can see, and so on. Okay, this is raw data. It's just random there. Okay, now, if I want to represent this data into a frequency table, I need groups. So how are we grouping this? The runs between 0 and 19, runs between 20 and 39, 40, 59, 60, 79, 80, 99, 100. Then I have to tally. I have to count how many runs between 0 to 19 from the raw data, from this raw data. Are we all together? So if you look at this, between 0 and 19, we have 4. So this lines, this means if I have 1, this means 1, that means 2, that means 3, that means 4. If I put a line like that, that means 5. Are we all together? How will we represent 10 in tallies? It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is 5 and 5. Are we all together? That makes sense. Okay, so we represent 1 with a line, 2 with another line, 3 with another line, and 4 then 5, we just cross it, that means 5. Are we all together? So, between 0 and 19, we have 4. There, let's see actually which is 4. Be 0 because there's 1. 0 falls in the interval 0 to 19. Can I find another one from the raw data, which is this? 18, that's the second one. Where is another one? Can I see another one? 5, oh, I see 5 there, which is the third one. I need the fourth one. It should be somewhere here. There we see. Where is the fourth one? Okay, 12, which is the fourth one. Are we all together? Then, the frequency will be the total tally. I just have to check. This is 4 in there, 4. So there's runs between 0 and 19, there are 4. Runs between 20 and 39, there are 13. Because it implies, this, remember this is 5, and this is 5, and this is 3. Because it's, how many lines? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, a line, that means 5. Another one, 1, 2, 3, 4, a line. It's 10 plus 3 lines, which is 13, which we get in. Then 40 to 59, which is 9, and 60 to 79, which is 7, and we have 5 there, and we have 2. So what we have done here, we took a raw data, which is data there, 40, 10, 0, written down. We put that in a group. I mean, this is better. I want to know how many of actually the players get between 0 and 19 runs. We can see there's 4 of them. And here, let's look at the modal class. The modal class will be the most occurring, which is the highest frequency, which is which one? 20 and 39 is the one with the highest frequency. Can you see that? So which is 20 to 39 is the one with the highest frequency. So if you look at this, we had our tallies there, and we had our frequency. Okay. So we looked at the bar graph, we looked at frequency table, we looked at histogram. Now we're going to look at the frequency polygon. Okay. So, which is another way of representing data. So I think after now, what I'd like you to think is, what is this frequency polygon? You know what is frequency mean? Do you know what is a polygon? How does a frequency polygon look like? Then after the break, we'll unpack the frequency polygon. Okay, see you soon.